Hold on tight for the next hour. You're entering into a place, a zone called the alternative to the alternative media. It's a place, a special place where even truth seekers fear to tread.
All right, people, let's move like we've got a purpose.
Affirmative.
Okay, folks, welcome back to the Investigative Journal on this Thursday. Hope you're having a good day so far. And let me tell you today, I'm going to reveal a big secret to you all. Now, years ago, I worked at Republic Broadcasting Network, RBN. That was in near Austin, Texas, in Round Rock. And I also was working for Genesis and had a radio show on both of these stations, which were, at the time, the internet wasn't as sophisticated as it is today. There weren't as many blogs. And so a lot of people for alternative news came to those stations, and I had a very big listenership and did two shows a day, maybe 3 to 4 hours of radio. And I concentrated on the subject I've been talking about for years, and that's the Vatican-led New World Order. So, during that time, I got to know the owner of that station, John Stabmiller. I also was on the Alex Jones show many times, and my show was either before or after. I think it was after his. And for a while, and then it was in the evening on Genesis. And so I got to know them through my affiliation with these stations. And it was interesting. It reached a point where I was getting popular with this Vatican-led New World Order subject, which wasn't heard very much. And I was told by John of the Republic Broadcasting Network that I was a one-trick pony, and that I had to get off the Vatican-led New World Order or find another place to go. So I did, and didn't work on these stations anymore. At the same time, I was called by Alex Jones crazy. The Jesuits at the time, he was saying, and the Vatican was basically a bunch of old priests and their power had diminished. He wasn't talking as far as, he's now talking about how the Pope is a Satanist, and he's dividing the Catholic Church into good and bad. I never did that. Of course, at the lower levels, people are ignorant of what the Vatican is all about, but the Vatican hierarchy, for lack of a better word, is bad. There is no good side, bad side as depicted by Angels and Demons, the movie that was done by Ron Howard, starring Tom Hanks. And so Jones basically revealed his true colors to me, and so did Stabmiller, and they were basically controlled opposition stations. Now, a lot of good stuff came out of those places, and you can still get a lot of good stuff if you want to look at Prison Planet, Alex Jones, so to speak. And it's quite interesting because he even gets mentioned on mainstream. Yes, because now Facebook and everything has shut him down. So they're saying, listen, and this is Tucker Carlson speaking on Fox, you don't have to like Alex Jones, but he has a right to say what he wants to say. Okay, Tucker, now what about me? Do I have a right to say what I want to say? I don't seem to get shut down, and the reason is because not many people listen. They marginalize this subject, and if you look at the stats on this subject, somehow, some way, when the word Jesuit gets in there, it gets in an algorithm, and then they can basically limit views, I believe. So basically, they marginalize this subject just like Facebook or Google did to conservative voices. And that made the mainstream news because we all know that progressives control the media. And now you're seeing these freshman congressmen talk about dismantling America and the Constitution as it is. I'll get to that in a minute. But I want to have some fun today because many people on the internet know that Jones is a controlled opposition broadcaster, and he's allowed to make millions of dollars and do this. He was one of the first on the scene. And if you really look back at Alex Jones, there was another Alex Jones before him in the 90s, And I think, and I'm just going to make an assumption here, if you look, there's only a couple broadcasts that guy did, and he was not the same person. Voice different, everything different. I think he wasn't as entertaining as the new Alex Jones. So he was a CIA asset that kind of disappeared. Then Alex came on the scene a little after that, and that was at the same time that Bill Hicks, that famous comedian, if you go down and Google Hicks and look at some of his stand-up comedy, and I follow this because I used to do a little bit of stand-up comedy myself, and so I listened to Hicks and I was quite impressed. I loved him. He was pretty good. And if you wanted to listen to a guy that was irreverent, basically wasn't politically correct back then, that was Bill Hicks, and he had a future. I think he was banned from one of the late night shows, and then he got on again, so there was a big, huge deal. Then all of a sudden he died of cancer or something, and apparently was buried in his backyard, is what I hear. All of a sudden Alex Jones crops up, this new Alex Jones. And then the similarities and a lot of the characteristics of Hicks are displayed by Jones, and so many people started to make the assumption that Alex Jones was Bill Hicks. So I'm going to have some fun today, and when I finish a few subjects here that I want to talk about, I'm going to play a video regarding this subject, and someone who has researched this, he calls himself ODD, okay? And my comment, though, is I want to dispel any rumors that Alex Jones is Bill Hicks. And the reason is because I'm Bill Hicks, okay? Alex, don't worry about it. I'll take the heat for you. And if anybody wants to come and talk to me about me being Bill Hicks, they're welcome to do that. Okay? So, Alex, don't worry about it anymore. None of us think you're Bill Hicks, at least over here, because I know I am. And, man, they did a makeover on me. There's no similarities whatsoever. If you look at my pictures, my voice, they did a whole big number. And let me tell you how the CIA did that. They took me to one of their secret Russian installations near where they take the American astronauts and train them in a swimming pool in Russia so that the American media or nosy American people can't see exactly the big hoax about these Freemason astronauts. Well, they took me to a place. And they promised, they asked, first of all, I was a successful comic as Bill. And they said, we have a future for you. Now, the point is, how come nobody listens? Well, this is the big secret. See, they want you to think that Alex is Bill Hicks to get away from me. That's right. I'm Bill Hicks. They're really sneaky at the CIA, so don't worry about it. But we're going to play those crazy videos that call Alex Bill, and I want to dispel any rumors because I'm Bill. Okay, that's the big secret. Secondly, we listen now. Now, first of all, I get criticized a lot of times because I say, well, the Jesuits, people think I want to overthrow America and the system. And that is totally wrong. Completely wrong. If you look at the American system, and I've always said this, it's a beautiful system. The Constitution on its face is fantastic. The idea behind America, all these states having control, you can live in Iowa and have a representative from Iowa. You can live in California and freak out with the rest of the Californians and have a representative there. So you got these 50 states, and an umbrella over that is this federal government that's supposed to protect you and have limited powers. That is a beautiful idea. The creation of this system was ingenious, and I've always said that. But it was created by people who create a lot of different forms of government. And they created communism. Fascism, in a sense, was a starting point for them. So they not only created this great system here, but they created communism. And they did that way back in the 1600s with the Paraguay experiments. And you can see the communist system in full regalia in the former Soviet Union. Well, at the same time, they decided to create this new democracy. Because at the time, in this republic, at the time, there was nothing like it. So these creators of this country created a beautiful system. They basically formatted everything. They had to break their ties from Britain. And that was a great way to, the way the creators of this great form of government that we have did it was ingenious too during the American Revolution. And I love studying that portion of history because there were a lot of revolutions during that time all over Europe and other places. And I believe the same creators of this country created those revolutions as well. And so the format of America is beautiful. I don't see any reason to change it. But the problem is, the people that started this had a better devious plan. They had to create a beautiful form of government in order to sneak their way in here, to gain control, and then one day get rid of it. And that's exactly what's going on now. It's been over 200 and some years, and so their plan has been meticulously laid out. And guess what? It's working. Because if you look at the recent talk from Congress, from all these new congressional people getting in there, and it always starts this way, they tap a person like Alessandro Cortez from New York, and she's calling for things that are completely socialistic, dismantling America, etc., etc. And then we get the guy from Texas, Beto O'Rourke, who they've tapped again. They find these people and then they push their programs. He yesterday said that, the system of America, this empire of America, he referred to it as an empire, doesn't work anymore. Maybe the Constitution doesn't work anymore. And this is going to be from a presidential hopeful. Then we've got a Pakistani congressman calling Mr. Trump an MFer. In public. It's getting to a point where you realize this is orchestrated. And she is saying that, she wants to basically side with Hezbollah, a terrorist group against Israel. And we'll have, she's anti-Semitic. And so what they're doing is ripping apart America from its seams now. And this is the same organization that's creating this, that created our country, that's doing this now, because their real goal is to do what they're doing, to dismantle America and create a one world government, one world religion, where America was just a part of it, and basically either a socialistic, fascistic system is on the horizon for this country, and that's their plan. So my point is, I don't criticize the Constitution. I criticize the people that are supposed to interpret it and is supposed to uphold it, is supposed to give life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness to its people, which isn't being done. So we can look at not only these freshman congressmen and others in government who are trying to openly now sway a lot of American minds into this idea that America sucks. And that's one of the reasons they're ripping down all of our old, Confederate statues, things like this. They want to erase what America was because it was inherently bad. Well, really, America's system is inherently good, but the people that infiltrated this country for this reason are bad. And that's what I try to expose in this show, and I can't understand why the mainstream, well, I can understand it, but I'll just say it that simply. I can't understand why the mainstream doesn't use the facts that we bring here and state the obvious. Because they are controlled as well, and they have boundaries on their freedom of speech. Tucker Carlson, who constantly says that there's no freedom of speech anymore, and political correctness is taking that away from conservatives, actually is muzzled himself if he really thinks about it and really wants to get to the truth. But this story is hidden because of an old maxim. Without secrecy, the Jesuit order cannot fulfill its plan, along with their minions now in government, throughout government, governments of the world, etc., etc. And it's an incredible situation that we're in, but the real truth is that the system is good, but it's not run properly. And so I don't advocate overthrowing the Constitution. I advocate exposing those who are doing this. And to try, and when they say drain the swamp, you got to look right to Georgetown University. Drain Georgetown. And forget about their basketball team and everything. So that's the real key. And so in every area you look, you see that they're working for this end. Look what's going on the border. I mean, that's a no-brainer. This system that we have of immigration is completely chaotic, causing these problems where we don't even know how many people here are illegally. You're here illegally. Could be anywhere from 20 million, they say, to 35 million. So no one really knows. Okay, so I don't know if it's obvious to you, but it's pretty obvious to me exactly what's happening in Washington and how this whole chaotic situation between the border, these two groups fighting, I mean, where they could solve this problem in 15 minutes. It's obvious, they're ripping America apart as it seems. And this government shutdown where all these people aren't getting paid. It's just another example of what's happening to America, and it's not going to get any better. This border issue is going to also play out for their benefit, as we now have two caravans coming up from Honduras again. And where are they going to go? They get into Mexico, and then they split up maybe in three directions, one towards Texas, one towards Arizona, New Mexico, one towards Tijuana and San Diego. And let me tell you something. Since I live right on the border, and I'm, in fact, in Mexico right now, people in Tijuana really don't like what's happening, and they've shut down the place where they house these people because they're just fed up with it. They can't take care of them anymore. And now more are coming. So this is really obvious what they're doing. They're flooding America with this illegal immigration for a reason, because they have a socialist agenda. And they believe that people like this deserve the middle class wealth. They're not going to take the elite's wealth away, of course. And they say a wall doesn't work. Well, let's just talk about how funny this is playing out if you watch the news. There's a guy now running around documenting walls on the rich people's homes. And he said, if they don't back a wall, why does... They went to Barack Obama's house, and they couldn't even get near because there were barricades and police and everything. So he's obviously got a wall. Then they went to George Soros's house, and he's got a huge 10-foot, 12-foot wall with cameras all the way around his house. And this guy's on a trek now to expose all of these elites who have walls around their house. But it's immoral to have a wall to protect American citizens. Crazy. And, the wall they talk about is a fence. It's not going to be built on, like the Great Wall of China. It's just in strategic areas to deter people from coming into the country. Okay? All right. Enough of that. I got about 6 minutes here. So let me talk just off the cuff here. I found it interesting, the Sinaloa drug lord El Chapo from Mexico, who, there's no question about the fact that he worked with the CIA as well as the Mexican, the American governments, and they all kind of divvied up the money. Well, people then say, well, why did they put Chapo in jail? Well, he'd escaped from a number of Mexican jails. And the reason they used him to begin with, because he was pretty effective. But when he started to either demand too much money, not give enough away, or start killing too many people to make it too obvious, they decided to try to get rid of him and use somebody else. So that's where we're at now. They brought him to America, and now a trial is going on in New York. And a big bombshell statement was made yesterday that he gave away $100 million to a then sitting Mexican president, who was the last president who just left office, Nieto. Excuse me for not pronouncing his name right. There's been no comment from him yet, but I can just make a comment for him. He'll say something like, "You can't believe a drug lord." So don't worry about it. That story will get washed away into the annals of don't believe anything that comes out of El Chapo's mouth. But I say this, I believe him over believing any of these drug lords like Bill Clinton, all the, Clinton cartel. And what is the difference? So let's say I believe this bribe happened. So he bribes Nieto, the president, with $100 million, because, he's got to have some money after he leaves office. And they'll deny it, just like Clinton denies anything. But what's the difference between that and these bribes that the Clinton Foundation makes, where he goes over and speaks for $150,000? He gets millions of dollars of donations from lobbyists. It's the same thing. They're bribing them. There's no difference. But the real key is, if you want to get the truth, go to some of these mafia guys that have nothing to lose. I mean, the guy's going to be in jail the rest of his life. And unless they promise him if he shuts up and they give him a new identity and he lives on some Greek island as a new person, which they can do because he's a CIA asset. That's for sure. So the problem is, what I did one time is I found a lower level mafia guy who was just out of jail in Vegas, named Gambino, from the Gambino crime family, Tony Gambino. And he was the godson of Carlo, the big mafia boss in the Gambino crime family in New York. And he just got out of jail for 20 years for racketeering. And he wanted to talk about, how it really operates. How the mob, the CIA, the Vatican, and I left out the Vatican money with Chapo, and how they all work together. And he said, when we were making money off drugs, the government and the Vatican were bigger recipients. They made more money off of it than the crime boss. So then people said, well, you can't believe him. And I said, yeah, I don't believe the Pope. I don't believe the American government and presidents and CIA, but I'd rather believe him. So really, if you want to get to the truth, go to the crime bosses, is my advice. Now, there's also a show out. Get it on, I watched it on Netflix the other day. It's called Barry Seal. And if you remember who Barry Seal was, they tried to tell a story using Tom Cruise, but they didn't get to the bottom of it. But it really exposed Mena, Arkansas, but they didn't get to the bottom of Clinton, the Vatican, and the rest of the connections there, and the people, and reason why Seal was killed, assassinated. And that is an interesting story. At least you get it out there, but there's a lot more to it. So, I kind of like some of these mafia shows. Who doesn't? We always look back on them. And, of course, which was the best? Oh, nobody can deny the Godfather trilogy, especially 1, and then 2 and 3. Very good. And you couldn't probably watch them 10 times. So, as well as, I enjoy sometimes going back and watching the old Sopranos. And Mr. Now, you haven't heard from anything about Gandolfini. He was I believe in Rome when he had a heart attack. The main actor in The Sopranos. And he died an early death. And I just wonder what happened to him. Interesting story. So we got about 20 seconds. I'm going to come back and play that video to dispel all rumors that Alex Jones is Bill Hicks, because I'm Bill Hicks, Alex, so don't worry about it. Back in 3 minutes on the Investigative Journal.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app, for all of your mobile devices. Streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The following program is labeled dangerous and off limits by the supreme Jesuit command. But stand tall, people. Listen up, and you may just learn something.
Oh, dear Lord Jesus, this ain't happening, man. This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening.
Okay, boys and girls, we're back on the Investigative Journal. And you know what I'm going to do? Like this whole half hour, I'm just going to have some fun and reveal secrets that never told on the internet. You got to believe everything you see on the internet. And you know, my headline on YouTube is going to be, Greg admits he is Bill Hicks, not Alex Jones. Okay. So, maybe because I'm sure that the only reason people go to these YouTubes is by the titles. And then they get 5,000 hits. And how many people actually watch the whole thing? You don't know. You could hit it once, look on it for 2 seconds, and that's a hit, right? So I don't know. I always see the ones that get the most, like billion hits, are the guy swallows German Shepherd in one gulp. That will get 10 million hits. Then you do a story about Lorenzo Ricci, the Jesuit general, foments the American Revolution. That'll get like 3 hits. Because people really in America could care less about history. They're so dumbed down now, basically. So dumbed down and so politically correct that they might as well just be a robot. And if we're worried about artificial intelligence taking over, it's already taken over because most of these people have no intelligence. So artificial intelligence and robots will be a plus, better than what's going on in the universities today. So, poor Alex Jones gets accused of being Bill Hicks all the time, and I want to say, Alex, don't worry about it, I'm Bill Hicks. I've admitted it. People can start looking into my background, but they're not going to find anything similar to Bill because the CIA did such a great job of diverting the attention to Jones off of me that you'll never even guess because I have none of these characteristics. I didn't, although I know Kevin Booth, who was who Alex Jones replaced Bill Hicks as Kevin Booth's partner. You see, they did that to make you think he was Alex Jones or Bill Hicks, running Sacred Cow Productions. See, I stayed away from Kevin. I don't even talk to him anymore. Okay? Then there's the physical evidence. Same teeth, same facial alignment. See, I don't have any of that. They changed me totally. Admissions. I've never admitted it until today. And the reason I'm doing it today is because I feel sorry for this guy, Alex Jones, getting all this criticism when he's really not him. Alex himself, the admissions, Jerome Corsi, all these people made admissions. No one's ever really gotten to the bottom of me because I can't. Now, 3, obvious suspicions. He looks older than Bill. Well, that doesn't make anything because they changed. I look so young for my age. It doesn't matter. Circumstantial evidence. The only time, see, Alex has always been in Austin, TW Cable Access, and always Kevin Booth awarding Alex at Hicks's death anniversary, things like this. They say Jones is an insider CIA family member, huge instant know-how of news and events. Well, anyway, I could talk forever. But poor Alex is getting lambasted, and I just wanted to set the record straight. And let's play this, though, to show you what people really think. And maybe they've got me, you know, CIA can do a lot to your mind. And maybe they've made me believe I'm Bill Hicks, but I'm really not. So let's see. Maybe this will trigger something in my memory, and I'll have to admit I'm not him. But you never know with these CIA guys what they do to you, right? Here we go.
Hey everybody, ODD here. What's good? I wanted to dive into this Alex Jones Bill Hicks debate. I've been researching the idea that Alex Jones might be Bill Hicks, and I got to admit that at first I thought it was completely silly and I didn't want to go there. But I watched a fellow truth seekers video called Alex Jones is Bill Hicks 15 Proofs. It's by Taboo Conspiracy. Big shout out to him. So anyway, this video will probably receive quite a bit of hate because A, there's a coordinated attack on this information. At least that's what I believe and that's what it appears. B, there are tons of people brainwashed by InfoWars and they think it's a legit source for truth. And C, people who love Bill Hicks think that he would never do anything like this because he was a loose cannon. Luckily, I've never been here for the likes, so I don't really care. Anyway, some say that even if Alex Jones is Bill Hicks, it doesn't matter. I say, if Bill Hicks was recruited to assume the character of Alex Jones as the leading controlled opposition to the mainstream media, then I think that's a big deal. And let me say this, Bill Hicks, for what he was and what his work consisted of, I absolutely love him. He was a total badass, and I have all of his work, and I watch it every once in a while.
We have figured it out. Go back to bed, America. Your government has figured out how it all transpired. Go back to bed, America. Your government is in control again. Here's American Gladiators. Watch this. Shut up. Go back to bed, America. Here is American Gladiators. Here is 56 channels of it. Watch these pituitary retards bang their fucking skulls together and congratulate you on living in the land of freedom. Here you go, America. You are free to do as we tell you. You are free to do as we tell you.
I don't want to disrespect the man if he is dead, but I genuinely don't think so, and here's why. First off, they look identical. When comparing pictures of the two, you'd have to be blind not to see the similarities. I know we all have doppelgangers, but these guys both grew up in the state of Texas and have the same teeth, which is damn near an impossibility, especially when considering all of the other things they have in common. same best friend and production partner Kevin Booth. Here's a clip of Kevin Booth discussing a little bit about growing up with Bill Hicks as his best friend.
I remember I used to buy Totino's frozen pizza every single night and like a half a gallon of Bluebell ice cream and go over to Bill's house, and that's what we would do: watch soap, pizza, and ice cream, and just listen to albums and watch the show Soap.
Now here's a clip of AJ accidentally slipping up on a show where Kevin Booth was the guest.
No, I'm just giving medical facts here on air, buddy. All right, let's reset. Go to break. Me and Kevin are old friends. This is not good here on air. Me and Kevin are old friends. This is not good here on air. A little bit of gallows humor here straight ahead. I'm Bill Hicks, your host. We'll be right back. I'm Bill Hicks, your host. We'll be right back.
You can go to Kevin Booth's website, Sacred Cow Productions, and click on Artist Bios. You'll find that Alex Jones is listed right underneath Bill Hicks. When you click on AJ's bio, it has some interesting things. Let's read the top part here. I became familiar with Alex Jones in the early 90s when he had his first cable access show in Austin, Texas. Alex used to sit in front of a star map, and I had a hard time putting my finger on exactly what it was that Alex was talking about. I remember the very last time Bill Hicks came to Austin Access, spring of '93, we were working on a script called Public Access about a Rush Limbaugh type character who angers a viewer, and the viewer came to the station and killed the host on air. Bill's character was an abstract composite of various Access personalities, including Alex. Okay, it's basically saying that Bill Hicks was assuming a role that incorporated Alex Jones. That's pretty funny. Now let's just finish this paragraph. Bill actually watched Alex one day and said, "He has magnetism, but I can't tell where he's going." So Bill Hicks and Alex Jones have supposedly been in the same place at the same time. I would say on multiple occasions if Bill was utilizing Alex's personality for his Rush Limbaugh type character. And there's no photos that exist of the two together. You can find Bill Hicks with Kevin Booth. You can find Alex Jones with Kevin Booth. But not Bill and Alex. It's not incriminating on its own, but it's worth your consideration as we continue. Bill Hicks was working on a story as a journalist with Kevin Booth about the Waco Branch Davidians shortly before he died in 1994. Then in 1996, Alex Jones pops up out of nowhere with himself and Kevin Booth doing the exact same thing. Here's Bill Hicks in 1993 doing a Halloween special for Sacred Cow Productions.
Sony's on line one.
Sony's on line one? You mean we're out of here? We got the public backing we need?
Yeah, that must be that.
Fuck it, we got our big record deal. We're out of here. Thanks.
And here's Alex Jones doing a Halloween special in 1997, also for Sacred Cow Productions.
Yeah, pretty close. Well, I can assure you I don't make any money off public access.
Coincidence? Maybe. Let's keep going. Some people say that Bill and Alex don't sound alike, but actually they do at times. Here's Bill Hicks.
You suck, buddy, you suck. I can yell at the comedian because I'm a drunk son. That gives me carte blanche. I got a cunt and I'm drunk. I can do anything I want. I don't have a cock. I can yell at performers because I'm a fucking idiot because I got a cunt. I want you to go find a fucking soul.
And here's Alex Jones.
You know what it's like to go to sleep every night knowing you work for a bunch of psychotic killers and you bastards are probably going to end up killing me one day? You know what it's like knowing you've ruined my life? You know what it's like, you sons of bitches? I'm tired of your crap. You commit evil, you're part of an evil system, and we're standing up against you. And the Republic is going to defeat you in the end.
I don't have a cock. I can yell at performers because I'm a fucking idiot. Because I gotta
go to sleep every night knowing you work for a bunch of psychotic killers and you bastards are probably going to end up killing me one day.
Bill Hicks as an entertainer could do lots of voices, I'm sure. Hell, here's Alex Jones showing you some of his.
Well, we're down here at the legendary Access Studios, where Bill Hicks was interviewed by Lord Booth. Bill Hicks was interviewed by Lord Booth. Get behind our troops now through the Gulf. The road home for our boys comes back from Baghdad. Mr. Stamler, this is Billy Johnson calling from New York. We have got your award here, and we'd like to present it to you at the midterm 2004 World Tiddlywinks Championship. So we'd like to see what you can do with those tiddlywinks. I hear you can, flip them like nobody else in the world possibly can, Mrs. Sandler. We do appreciate you calling us. And remember that Alex Jones is a very dangerous character. So need to work with someone of that type of caliber. Very wicked.
In fact, just like Hicks, Alex would also do stand-up comedy.
I've got the film clip of Eisenhower back in 1958 calling Fidel Castro the Abraham Lincoln of the Caribbean. Maybe he is. But my point is, they put that motherfucker in power. They put him in there.
Another coincidence, don't mind me. Isn't it a little weird that on the 10th anniversary of Bill Hicks' death, Alex Jones accepted a Bill Hicks portrait as an award?
Tribute to Bill Hicks, February 26, 2004, commemorating 10 years since Bill left our world, presented to the Bill Hicks Foundation for Wildlife, Jerry and Lynn Raritan, and the fine folks at Capital City, a.k.a. Lapstop Comedy Club by Kevin Booth, Sacred Cow Productions, and artist M.A. Hardy. The following Bill Hicks productions were recorded in this club: Sane Man, 1989, Relentless, 1991, Arizona Bay, 1992, and Ranton E. Minor, 1993.
This is long before there was even a connection made between Bill and AJ. Before we go any further, I must bring up the fact that according to searchable birthdays of Bill Hicks and Alex Jones, there is a little over a 12-year difference in age, with Bill being older. So Alex claims he's 44 now, and Bill would be 56 right now. Let's note that here in 2018, that Alex Jones does not look 44. He doesn't look 44 to me. Also gotta say that people age differently depending on how they treat their bodies and things like that. So again, just want to make a note of it because people have been making notes of this for quite some time.
It is important for the viewer of this video to know that Bill Hicks is 12 years older than what his character, Alex Jones, claims to be. That being said, let's play a little game. How old is that man? 30 or 42? 32 or 44? 35 or 47? 39 or 51?
Moving forward, Kevin Booth credits Bill Hicks and Alex Jones as the producer of his 2013 film, American Drug War II. On many occasions, Alex Jones talks about being Bill Hicks.
Yes, I am Bill Hicks. Or to be more accurate, you didn't get it all, did you? You didn't get the full conspiracy. I played the character, Bill Hicks, for 15 years with my accomplice, Kevin Booth. And we fooled you all. The master actor, the master genius. Then I decided to bring forward an even more incredible persona, that of Alex Jones. The Queen of England's my mother. Oh, actually, that'll start a new conspiracy theory. Actually, Bill Hicks is my mother. No, the government, in an immaculate conception, climbed on top of my mother, and that's how you got Alex Jones. I am the son of Obama, Bill Hicks. The whole world is a stage and each of us players upon it. I mean, as Bill Hicks, I know that better than most. Folks, I am Bill Hicks. And I'm sitting here looking at all this, and these people come up to me on the street and they go, hey Joe, said it like 5 times. And then I try to think, I knew you were, I mean, not Joe.
Alex Jones. Alex.
Whatever
Whatever your fucking name is. Alex Jones.
All right, the programming's wearing out. So I want to just get this out of the way. I am Bill Hicks.
Has been called Bill by some of his guests.
The missing records, it's the proof of cover-up is the proof of guilt.
Yeah, and we just wrote this e-book, question of eligibility, under my name, Jerome Corsi and Mike Zollo, D-U-L-L-O. We lay all this out, just like we did at the press conference. Now, your question,
and you've got Carrie, who's absolutely in another universe, in an alternate space, and, quantum Quagmireville, basically Quagmireville.
And Alex even claimed to be funnier and more successful than Hicks.
You're going to keep purveying that Bill Hicks myth when you do that, because that sounds like the devil Bill Hicks voice when you do that.
We should just get a tight shot of Merlin at the microphone.
And then Rush Limbaugh's there and the devil mounts him. I'm a lot funnier than Bill Hicks. I'm a lot more successful than him.
Definitely.
And it just shows the total mental illness.
And that's why you had to stop that character and just totally fully commit to Alex.
But I mean, the guy was from Texas.
While later being a total hypocrite.
And, it's actually kind of mean to the family, folks. Bill really did die of pancreatic cancer. And that's not why Kevin Booth is here. He's here to talk about American Drug War, too. I just want to be honest with folks. Actually, Kevin Booth is Bill Hicks.
In an issue of the Maybe Quarterly, Bill's best friend, Kevin Booth, says this. Even Joe Rogan has gone back and forth since I first introduced him to Alex. He keeps flipping back and forth between either this guy is a complete lunatic, or it's almost like he is some kind of savant that is seeing into the future on some weird level. What's weird is that I think Alex is one of the funniest guys I have ever known. I mean, I think that Alex is funnier than Bill. Alex makes me laugh harder than Bill ever did. He is such a genuine character. That's just not normal behavior for a lifelong best friend to display. Kevin Booth's Bill Hicks' best friend, and he's disrespecting him big time by saying Alex Jones is funnier than Bill. That's insane. That's ludicrous. They say Bill died from pancreatic cancer. The thing is that the most likely candidates for pancreatic cancer are between ages 60 and 80, not 32. Is it possible that Bill died of pancreatic cancer? Sure, but it's not likely. On some versions of American, the Bill Hicks story, the tagline says, "The true life story of the outlaw comic that tried to save the world. He still might." Perhaps a little clue.
Perhaps a little clue.
There, and that's not the only one. On page 423 of Bill Hicks, Agent of Evolution, Kevin Booth wrote that on the way back from Bill's purported funeral, that Bill had appeared sitting shotgun in Kevin's car, and then Bill proclaimed that he had done it. He pulled off the world's biggest joke, like it was all a magic trick. Let's look at the book. I'll show it to you. What's up, everybody? ODD. Got the book. This is the book written by Kevin Booth. It's called Bill Hicks, Agent of Evolution. And I just want to show you that the page 423 real quick. So let's have a look. So here's page 423. And he's talking about, Kevin Booth is talking about being at the funeral. And he said, "There is nothing so real in the world, but at the same time, it was like a dream. How did this happen? How come Bill is dead? He was fucking 32. 30 fucking 2. The strangest, most beautiful person I ever knew or ever will. And he's dead at 32. So, just wanted to read that because he's you see how crazy it is that he made that statement that Alex Jones is the funniest person he's ever met. But let's jump down here to the bottom. It says, I was driving the old brown Blazer by Seton Hospital near my house. I caught something out of my periphery. I looked over and Bill had appeared sitting shotgun in my car. He told me that he had done it. That he had pulled off the world's biggest joke. Like it was all a magic trick. Okay? So that's page 423 of Bill Hicks, Agent of Evolution. Another interesting clue is in the orange drink connection. Bill had a stand-up segment about orange drink.
You ready? Orange drink. I'm going, what's the name of it? Orange drink. It's classic England, right? It's such a socialist nightmare over there, right? That's the drink. It's orange drink. I said, yeah, you really got my act down good, guys. That'll be great. You know, when I'm done ranting about elite power that rules the planet under a totalitarian government that uses the media in order to keep people stupid, my throat gets parched. That's why I drink orange drink. Yeah, right. See, don't you see how it would all fit in? Don't you see how every word I said would be hollow and filled with nothing?
And for some odd reason, Alex Jones sells an orange drink called Tangy Tangerine.
Now, there are hundreds of great products at InfoWarsTeam.com, but I want to point out the three that have helped me lose 37 pounds in just 2 months. Products like Beyond Tangy Tangerine.
Okay, I'm going to go have my orange drink right now because, Alex, don't worry. I'm admitting I'm Bill Hicks. This is Greg Anthony on the Investigative Journal.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.